All right, time for the Farmers and Artisans Market here at KSQM, your commercial-free listener-supported community radio for Friday, July 14th. And Bailey Loveless is here with me. She's the new market director. And we got a special guest, too. One of the vendors at the market, David Wilson, is here. And another new arrival, Bailey, another new vendor. We've had so many new vendors at the market lately, and particularly farmers. We've had a lot of new farmers the last couple of 3 years.
We have gotten new farmers. Maybe David can shed some light on why this is such a great place for new farmers.
Farmers at a farmer's market? That's so odd.
Well, there's a lot of farmers markets. You'd be surprised that you go there and there's one or two farmers and lots of other stuff.
I mean, for me, when I first came up here, I looked around, I thought that this would be a perfect place to farm, especially sort of in the rain shadow of the mountains. You've got all the sunshine because of, hence the lavender farms, and plenty of rain in the winter, and the soil is just this great volcanic silt loam that comes rolling down off the mountains, and it's for people who know farming, it's really a perfect place to grow most things. It's temperate. You don't get huge swings. You don't get, and I grew up in Michigan, born and raised, and I pretty much remember us going from a frost to 90 in 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And then I did 30 years in California, and I mean, you can't grow anything there without it bolting. I mean, immediately. So, it's beautiful and clean, fresh air. I mean, why not?
So, David, you like a lot of our smaller farmers around here, you kind of specialize in something. What are you specializing in?
I am specializing in green things, microgreens particularly, but also culinary greens that have been around for a while and have been sort of big in the culinary world, but are hard to get in smaller markets, including microgreens. Things like I'm lucky enough to have watercress growing in my creek, which has actually been around for like 1,000 years. It's a pretty old green, and people really love it. It's like cilantro. People either love it or they hate it.
Now, do they say creek in Michigan or do they say crick in Michigan?
It depends. It depends on your income level.
Okay.
I say creek. So,
yeah.
Things like purslane and, I've got mint growing and, stinging nettles, things like that maybe people have read about in Bon Appetit or seen on Top Chef or, seen on a food blog and think, why can't I get that? Why I wish somebody around here carried that. So that's
carried it fresh.
Carried it fresh,
yes.
Grown right here, right? Mm-hmm. Not brought in on a Cisco truck, but grown here locally, and so that's where I'm going to try to fit in.
Okay, we're going to direct your mic here. Talk more directly into the mic.
More at my ear. You want me to talk into it? Oh, really? Yeah. Like that?
Yeah.
How are we doing? Testing.
Yes.
There we go.
That's good. That's good.
Alrighty.
And so now you've just been up here for a little bit, just like a lot of our newer farmers here. And so this is your first year at the Squim Farmers and Artisans Market?
This is my second Saturday.
Second Saturday.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's brand new.
I'm brand new.
Okay.
I'm still breastfeeding, so to speak.
Okay.
So
and how welcoming have you found the other vendors at the market?
Zero welcoming. Nobody came over and said a thing. Nobody said, oh, hey, how are you doing? And I get it. People are setting up and people are busy with their own thing. But I thought at least one person would be like, hey, how are you? Not one. But I get it. People are really focused on what they're doing. And I know what it takes to get your stuff to market and then be at market. And then you're talking to people. And then you got to break down. You got to take it home. You got to break down at home. People probably just want to, and they figure they've got time. And then also I think a lot of them, they were new at one time. They probably figured, he's probably overwhelmed. He's probably freaking out. Let's just leave him alone. We'll get to it.
So, and it's a busy time of year, sorry.
It really is.
So Bailey and I have always talked about how because it's a farmer's market. You're not at the grocery store with the produce clerk.
Right.
Now, particularly where we have some newer product or something that people aren't necessarily used to, one of the things that people are able to do is talk to the actual growers about how they could use, prepare, store the product that they're purchasing. Right?
That I had a great experience doing that. It was really fun talking to people and educating them about it. And I think probably a lot of people who bought, maybe over 50% of the people who bought things from me on Saturday didn't know what they were, but said, "Oh, that's interesting." And I'm a big, fan of letting people taste things. So I always have like a taster thing, and I say, "Here, just pull that out. Here, just pull a leaf. Go ahead, eat it," and let them have that experience. And that's how people tend to, I think, kind of fall in love with things. And then I, back it up with some nutritional information, or how it's grown, or what it would be good with, how you would cook it if you're going to do that, or what you might serve it with. And people love that. They love trying new things, especially when it's really good for you.
Right. And now that we have a watercress vendor, we can open a tea shop in town.
Serve some watercress sandwiches.
Don't tell the tea shop that's here.
Well, and what I think is so interesting about your products in particular, David, is because to us here in the States, these are very niche ingredients, but globally and on a wider scale, these are not unique necessarily. Like, they're very staple in other diets.
And for good reason. Watercress, for example, which is so abundant in my creek. I actually named my farm the Watercress. But it is a USDA superfood. It's considered one of the healthiest things you can eat. And, once people discover something like that, I mean, it's big in Britain. Everybody in England knows what watercress is. And most Americans go, "I've heard of that." And things, like purslane, very big in other countries. When I was talking to you before, I always was talking about like epazote, which is really big in Mexico, and no one really grows it or sells it fresh. Even in Southern California when I was down there. I mean, I was going to like the Hollywood Farmers Market, which is famous, and the Santa Monica Farmers Market, and nobody had epazote, and it's practically a weed. And, Southern California is hot and dry. Why not? I could never understand why certain things that would grow in that kind of climate were there. And it's not like there wasn't a market for it. So those are the kind of things that I want to try to bring to the peninsula.
The Hollywood Farmers Market, that brings back memories. 1960, I think, was the first time I went to the Hollywood Farmers Market.
It's awesome.
Are doing the SQM Farmers and Artisans Market preview with Bailey Loveless, the market director, and David Wilson, one of the new vendors, one of the new farmers in the area. And we're going to talk to David a little bit more about his watercress, talking about agua here, and a lot of good water coming down from the mountains this year because we had lots of great snow and stuff. So, but Bailey, we need to talk about some nuts and bolts of the market. Obviously, it's going on now because it's summertime, but it goes all the way through the end of October.
It does, all the way to October 28th.
So you're going to see a lot of change, not just in the season here, but in the variety of product that's going to be for sale from the farmers at the market, right?
We still got those like late spring crops coming in and early hot weather loving plants. So this coming Saturday, I know for sure we're going to start seeing some zucchini. We're going to see broccoli. We're going to see some nice big cabbage heads. And I think those types of fruits and veggies have only been coming in over the last couple of weeks. So.
Right. And like we were talking with David here, there's varieties of stuff that you may not normally be used to, like the broccolini is down there as well, and other kind of product that some of these vendors have brought to the market. And the thing about it, of course, is that it's fresh, locally sourced. You know where it came from. You can actually talk to the people who grew it and how they grew it, and and how best to store, prepare it, that sort of thing. So when you're doing your shopping, go to the market first, and then go do the rest of the shopping.
That's what we recommend. Do your grocery planning on Friday. Clean out your fridge, see what you have, make your list, and then stop at the market first. Get what you can there, and then go on the way for the rest of your food that you need for the rest of the week.
And you want to be there when the bell rings at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock sharp.
And stop at the information booth with your reusable bag.
First 25 shoppers get $2 to spend anywhere at the market.
All righty. And of course, let's see. Of course, today is Bastille. Oh, if only Bastille fell tomorrow, you'd be giving away francs or maybe euros these days. Anyway, but and the first Saturday and the last Saturday are special days because the first Saturday is Kids' Day.
Kids' Day.
And then the kids can get extra little moolah to spend at the market as well.
Yeah, kids get $3 to spend on fruits and vegetables on the first Saturday of every month. And then on the last Saturday is Senior Appreciation Day, where seniors get $2 to spend anywhere they would like at the market.
I like being appreciated, yes. And so, and now we've also started music. You know, we're doing music in the park all summer here. KSQM's doing music in the park on Tuesday evenings down at Kerry Blake Park at 6 o'clock. But music can be also found at the Farmers and Artisans Market.
It sure can. So for the rest of the summer, we're going to have music from 11 to 2 in the afternoon. Playing this Saturday, we have some very well-known and beloved guests from our community. Amanda and Todd from the famous Black Diamond Junction will be playing with their acoustic duo At Large. And so we're so happy to have them coming out.
And what time does the music start?
Music starts at 11 a.m.
Okay, so you could get there at 11. If you want to be sleeping in and miss stuff, but nowadays you don't just have to stand around and listen to the music. You can actually sit down and enjoy lunch while you're listening to the music.
That's true. We've added some picnic tables to the market, and people seem to be really loving to have that option to pop a squat. You know, I remember last year eating my lunch on the market on a curbside.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a formal seating area for people to enjoy their food.
Right, because besides just the produce and the veggies and the other kind of stuff that's there, there's also prepared food and, you know, baked goods and other kind of stuff, and even little
nuts.
Little nuts.
Those nuts are insane.
You
They're
can't
so
eat just
good.
one.
So,
That's
oh
right.
my God. We burned through like 2 of those.
If you need some fuel, I'll get some nuts.
And a little Kansas City barbecue down there as well.
And our vegan vendor is going to have biscuits and mushroom gravy this weekend.
Oh,
and
really?
man, they look so
Biscuits
good.
and mushroom gravy.
They look good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds great, doing that. So, yes. So, anyway, a lot of vendors down there. We're up around 65, 70 vendors.
We
It
are
varies.
close to 70.
Close to
just
70.
shy of 70 this year.
Yeah, because besides, we've been talking about the food vendors and the farmers, but there's lots of great local artisans. And, of course, this is all stuff that is required to be handmade right here in the area, right? It's not like they buy the finished product somewhere else and just up the price and put it out.
Yeah,
for
we
sale.
have certain requirements from all of our vendors, whether they're a grower or an artisan, about how they're sourcing their products, standards they need to meet to make sure that their supply chain is as local as possible.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the Sequim Farmers and Artisans Market's been around,
23 years.
Almost 25 years now. About as long, a little longer than I've been here. And it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
That's right.
And so if they could actually use some volunteers, just like we have volunteers here at KSQM. If you are interested in helping out at the market, it might be nice. But it's a great place to socialize and meet. It's basically the old traditional European market day, you know, where everybody goes down to the market and sells their ware and gossips with everybody about what's happening.
I mean, really, that's been the function of farmers markets for well over 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Technology has changed, but the basic function of a farmer's market really hasn't. I personally think it's a testament to the ingenuity of humans and our need for community, how markets operate and have remained such a staple throughout civilizations throughout the world.
And, you know, David, we talk about how a lot of people this time of the year particularly have visitors come. When they move here, all of a sudden they find out that they have other friends or relatives that want to come and see the North Olympic Peninsula. And the farmers market is such a great place to start showing them what it's like around here. You got anybody coming up?
I do. I actually have a dear friend of mine from Ohio that is coming next week and could not be more excited about helping me at the farmers market, begged to come and work with me. So I'm like, absolutely. And I will be featuring his mother's zucchini relish. We're going to make a big batch of Mother Queen's zucchini relish, which is really awesome. I have to say, it's some of the best I've ever tasted. So we're going to whip some of that up, and we'll have it at the market that day.
Of course, sounds so good.
It's like, and you know what? It's really good on. I mean, obviously, hot dogs, hamburgers, but you make a grilled cheese sandwich and put it on there, you will start making grilled cheese just so you can have this zucchini.
See, all kind of ways, folks, that you can hear about how to use the vegetables and the products that you buy down there at the market. And of course, when your visitors come, they can find something that they can take home with them to remind them of their visit to Olympic Peninsula. Now, Bailey, people might want to know beforehand just which vendors are going to be there and what else is happening at the market. How can they do that?
The best way to see exactly who's going to be there each week is to go visit our website, squimmarket.com, and check out the market map. You can see exactly who will be there and where they're going to be at the market. And then, of course, you can also follow us on Facebook or Instagram. And I keep that pretty up to date with everything that's going to be going on.
Yeah. And if you're a gardener, a backyard gardener like I am, and you can get down there. Of course, we have lots of master gardeners and other kind of gardeners around here as well. But you can get down to the market, and maybe you'll find something else that you'd like to grow in your own garden, and ask the vendors down there how they do it, particularly, or find out how to use all that zucchini you're growing in your garden. Freezing it, making zucchini muffins in the wintertime. That's one way, but you got to be innovative on how to use these products. How are we going to use this watercress other than on little sandwiches that are cut into triangles with the crust taken off?
And butter.
And butter.
Okay. Don't forget. They're actually pretty delicious. But it pretty much goes anywhere arugula goes. It has that same kind of real spicy kind of a bite to it. If you like hot food like radishes, you're going to love watercress. So, and it has kind of a bluish green color to it. Really pretty, very minerally. It's great. Anywhere arugula would go, you can put it in a salad. You can put it on sandwiches. You could melt it into grilled cheese.
Eggs on top of
eggs. Put it on top of eggs. The flowers are cute. You can just, garnish a plate with the flowers. Lots of different ways to use it. It's a lot like cilantro, I feel like, if people either sort of love it or they go, not for me, but people who love a bite.
Or maybe an alternative to cilantro. I wonder about this. My daughter's boyfriend can't eat cilantro. It tastes like soap to him. And evidently, some people, that's what happens. For some reason, they can't taste it like we taste it, normal people. And but I wonder if watercress might be an alternative to cilantro for those people.
Anybody that comes by, you are welcome to try it. I encourage it. One of the other things that I tell people to do, because you can use the entire plant that I sell, and the stems. People who really love the flavor will make a watercress pesto, which is really pretty insane, pretty good. I've had that with, good olive oil, and it, goes anywhere, and anywhere that really parsley could be used. It can stand in for that. A much different flavor profile than parsley, but it has that intense nutrition and a nice bite to it. And I find that it's a really good foil to rich foods. So if you're going to make a ham and Havarti sandwich, put some watercress on it, and it will just balance out that richness beautifully.
I put some on my pizza the other day at your suggestion, and it was delicious.
Yep.
It just gave it a nice little aromatic bite to
Yep.
go with the rest of the toppings.
And I just recommend people, when the pizza comes out of the oven and it's still too molten lava, hot to eat, drop the watercress on then and just let the natural heat of the pizza just kind of melt it a little, wilt it down a tiny bit. But I'm not a big fan. I actually have never had it cooked. I just think that greens are so great for you the way they are. And, to some things, like I would prefer to eat fresh spinach, which has a really different flavor profile than cooked spinach. I will love to have a creamed spinach with a steak. Don't get me wrong. If you put it in front of me, I'm going to eat it. But I think that watercress is very similar to a lot of those greens that most people just prefer to eat it fresh. And any of those applications, it'll work wonderfully.
All right. So, folks, that's what you can do. And you're going to drop in and see David tomorrow at the Sequim Farmers and Artisans Market, 9 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, down at the corner of Cedar and Sequim Avenue at the Sequim Civic Center Plaza. And once again, sequimmarket.com, if you want to write it down because it's so hard to remember, sequimmarket.com. And you can check out, and there's even a little map to show you exactly where David's located, right?
And David's located right square in the center of Farmers Market Row. So
it's a really good website. I have to say, you guys have done a brilliant job with that.
Thank you.
It's really interactive. It's very easy to use, and it's super informative the way you can update it every week. And good job with that.
One other thing we talked about folks starting their shopping at the farmers market, but particularly there's a group of folks that really probably should start their shopping at the farmers market, those people that are on the SNAP program or some of the other food assistance programs, because you have an opportunity for them, don't you?
Yeah, so we offer two food access programs at the market. One of them is a SNAP EBT Market Match. So if you are a SNAP EBT user, you can come down to the market, bring your card with you, and visit the market info booth, and we will be able to not only redeem funds off of your SNAP EBT card, but we will also offer you a match. So if you, for instance, take off $20 from your EBT card, we're going to give you $40 to spend at the market. So we're essentially doubling your bucks.
All right. So a great way to go and make sure you get that good, fresh, locally sourced produce and veggies and stuff. And the fact that you're buying it at the local farmers market means that the dollars are staying here and getting regenerated right back into the local economy. And speaking of regenerative, David, your farm is a regenerative farm, isn't it? So if you actually visit your farm, you feel younger? Is that?
That is right. We don't guarantee anything, but what do you got to lose?
What exactly is a regenerative farm?
I'm not sure what the textbook definition is, but for me it just means reusing everything that you have and being sustainable to bring in as little as possible and use what you have. I'm a huge composter. I love composting. It's ridiculous how much I love it. Mm-hmm. That you can take any natural product. I mean, not the things like meat or grease, obviously, but anything green, your vegetable greens, the inner roll from your paper towels, Q-tips, anything that you throw into your compost, and 6 months later, it's all disappeared and is just this beautiful black soil that is, so rich and so great for plants. I have chickens. When I muck out the stalls, that all goes into the compost. All the grass clippings, everything, and so you start really. When you mow, anything you cut down, that isn't being lost. That's being turned right back into the soil. And so, I'm on a well, so it's well water. And I feel like what's on my 2 acres stays on my 2 acres.
Yeah, so you're putting everything that you're taking out of the soil, all the nutrients and vitamins that you're taking when you harvest a plant, right? And you're putting it back in by composting and breaking down that organic material.
Right. As much as possible, obviously, if I'm selling my greens, that's not coming back to me, but as much as I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure David has got to get back to tilling the soil and harvesting for tomorrow's market, and I'm sure Bailey's got plenty to do to get ready for the market, and Ollie's getting a little anxious over here too. So he's sitting nice and quiet for this whole interview. So thank you